What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Young Money Investments and this new series that we are filming about real estate investing, real estate buying, real estate selling, everything related to real estate. In today's video, I'm going to give you the top reasons why I am looking to buy a home right now before the recession. And before any of you keyboard warriors get on there and start typing all sorts of messages to me, hold on, hang out, wait a minute and watch my reasons, and I'm going to explain to you why I believe right now is still not a bad time to be getting into the housing market. All today on Young Money Investments. Alright, you guys, so like I was saying in the introduction, I have three top reasons why I believe right now is not a bad time to be getting into the housing market. A lot of people are going to be getting on there and going, you're stupid, you claim that you're a financial advisor and you're going to sit here and you're talking about let's hold up, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not doing any sort of recommendations, I'm talking about my personal experiences and what I believe is, I was checking the mic here, like looking at the mic, it's weird, I'm mic'd up today. But I want to share with you my personal opinions, my beliefs, and kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing. If you like that, great. If you don't, that's totally fine. And I think this is a great opportunity to learn. I think you learn the most from things that are opposite of what you would normally do. And you can either take that as a benefit to you or you can take it as a negative. But either way, please feel free to smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, you guys, so my reason number one, as I wrote down on here, it says it's out of necessity. So if I need a home and you need a home, find a good deal. If you'll be there for at least 3 years or more, then buy the home. So kind of give you a little bit of a background story. I recently moved here to Washington. I'm looking for a home here in Washington. I'd been going to school out of state for years, traveling back and forth, going to Louisiana a lot. If any of you know me, you kind of know my background story, but I'm looking to actually become a real estate agent for Oregon and Washington. I'm looking to get my broker's license for Oregon and then Washington as well. And so I need a place to live. I'm currently living out of boxes. I'm currently not fully unpacked, and it is annoying. Anyone that has lived away from home and anyone that has to go back home or live somewhere with friends or family knows it's not ideal. It doesn't matter how much space there is, doesn't matter, how much it's just not comfortable. You want your own space, you want your own home, you want your own et cetera, et cetera. So my purpose in doing this is I need it out of necessity, and especially like I said, recently getting married, I want to have a home for my family and as we have kids and things like that. So if you're planning on owning a home for more than 3 years, my belief is purchase the home, and especially where me wanting to do more real estate investing, I plan on purchasing a home that I will hold and own for forever. So it doesn't matter whether I'm buying right before a crash, I'm going to hold on to this home for forever. And that brings me to point number two. And that brings me to point number two, which is cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. You guys, everyone on YouTube, every single YouTuber that's in the financial education segment talks about cash flow. And cash flow, simply put, in a home is where your mortgage, the amount of money that you are spending to own that home every month, is going to be less than what you would be able to charge for that particular property. If you can find a home where your numbers work out, where your interest rate is low enough, your HOA fees, your loan fees, the mortgage, et cetera, all those things combined, all those things that involve the home, if those can all be less than your burn or what you spend to own that particular home, that home cash flows, and that home is actually making you cash. Now, obviously, when I first buy the home, I'm not cash flowing the property technically, right? Theoretically, I want it to be able to and make the numbers make sense so that when I end up actually going out and renting the home out, it's actually costing me less to own it than what the rent is coming in, so I'm actually making a profit. But when you first buy the home, obviously you're going to be the one paying the mortgage, paying all the bills and all the fees that are associated with that particular home. For example, in Washington, roughly speaking, you're going to get, give or take, a little bit more than $1 per square foot in rental income. So currently I'm looking at a home that's roughly right around 2,200 square feet. I'm hoping that when I can rent that home out, even if I was to rent it out right now, I could rent it out for somewhere anywhere between $2,000 to $2,300, $2,400 if I was really lucky. But I'd say the average rent on a home like that would probably be right around probably $2,300. Now, a mortgage on this particular home, and I don't want to give away all the details, this is going to be in a future video, kind of what I paid for the home, how I negotiated, etc., etc. But on this particular home, my mortgage should be somewhere probably right around $1,800, give or take. Now, in a market like this where the Washington real estate market has increased so dramatically, the fact that I can find a home that cash flows is really, really crazy, because right now property prices continue to go up. And so it is very hard to find these cash flowing properties. Maybe my mortgage will be somewhere right around $2,000, leaving me a very small margin. But as with anything, appreciation will continue to occur when I do look to rent this property out, most likely in 3 years from now. Hopefully rent is somewhere right around $2,400, maybe $2,500. And so I'll have even a larger margin or a larger window of profit to not only pay all the bills, but then also put a little bit of money back in my pocket. And then I can also use that equity that I build up in the home to purchase a second home, and then a third home, and a fourth home, and a fifth home, and a sixth home. Third reason, you guys, why I see buying a home right now is a pretty decent decision is because of interest rates getting cut. Now, I've touched on this in one other video, and I've touched on this a little bit previously. Interest rates have been cut recently. So basically what happened is the Fed cut the interest rates back in July for the first time in, I believe it was 8 or 10 years, might have been 10 years since the Great Recession. With that being said, as of September, we've also seen another Fed interest rate cut. I think we're now down somewhere right around 2%. We were at 2.25% after the July cut. And so interest rates continue to go down. Now, one thing I do want to put an asterisk on and kind of let you be aware of, which I didn't know until fairly recently, is that interest rates on your home loans are more dependent and based upon the 10-year treasury bonds. So whatever that interest rate is on those, that's usually what determines what your home loan interest rate is going to be. And those fluctuate weekly depending on what those bonds are trading at. So just a little important tip and a little piece of like tidbit, gold nugget of information that you could use as well. That is going to be not so much based off of what the Fed is doing with that interest rate. That's more short-term interest and that kind of stuff. This is more going off of a long-term interest rate. And that's where a lot of these lenders will base their numbers on how much of an interest rate you are going to be paying for the money that you're borrowing on your home. Now, why do I think interest being this low is such a great thing or a reason to buy a home? It's because really, honestly and truly, relatively speaking, back in the 80s and 90s, it was not uncommon to see a 10% interest rate. Our interest rates on homes right now are usually somewhere between the mid threes to upper, I'd say mid threes to like low fours is probably going to be what your interest rate is as of today, which is here towards the end of September. So if you take all these things into consideration, you guys, it is kind of understandable to see why buying a home right now isn't necessarily a bad idea. Obviously, you're doing it out of necessity. You need a place to live. And if you can find a good deal on a home, why not do it? In my previous video, and I think there's probably going to be a link up here down in the description, I talk about the 7 best ways that you can find a good deal on buying either your first home or your first investment property. That link, like I said, should be down there, and it brings up a lot of good points and tips and tricks that I've used in order to basically find a home that cash flows, because you guys, that is really going to be the king and the key to basically buying a home. If that home doesn't cash flow, it's going to be much more difficult to make that decision. And so, like I said, cash flow, got to do that. And this market, like I said, with interest rates being what they are right now, I still think that it's a very good opportunity. Don't be that guy that saves all your money just waiting for the crash. You're missing out on years, and right now, literally a decade of investment opportunities that will have passed you by just because you're saying, I'm going to wait for the next crash. One of the things that I like to remind a lot of folks about is Australia is currently on a 27-year bull run. Now that's crazy. That's one of the longest bull runs in the world and in the history of the world. But that is the thing that you never know. So you don't so much try to time the market as find the right deals that are there in the market. And with that, you guys, that is the end of the video. If you've not done so already, please smash that thumbs up button, turn on that bell notification, subscribe to the channel, and I will continue to put out some of these real estate videos. Now that we are mixing in real estate with penny stocks, with swing trading, with just financial news in general, I have a big like big, I'd say Pandora's box of new content that I want to be putting out there for you. If you have any more questions about home buying or anything like that, please feel free to hit me up. And if you're looking for a real estate agent here in the Northwest, or honestly and truly anywhere in the country, please feel free to message me, and I can always get you a good agent anywhere in the country. All right, I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for tuning in and being here towards the very end. I will catch you guys later. Bye.